4:38, must be sticking into the seat.
I hope that's your waist size.
8:44.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of Osoyoos Town Council, Monday, February the 3rd, 2:00 p.m. in Council Chambers. The first item up would be adoption of some minutes of previous meetings, Committee of the Whole minutes from January the 20th, and regular open minutes from January the 20th. Any input from Council as to changes, deletions, additions? Hearing none, they will be adopted by consensus. Was there any business arising from those prior minutes? Nothing was noted. Late items, no late items, so I will take it that we are approving the agenda by consensus. No delegations, no water matters, no correspondence. Moving into bylaws, revenue anticipation borrowing bylaw number 1303/2014. If you just give me a minute, I'll take that here. This is for council to renew their line of credit with the Bank of Montreal. This bylaw received first 3 readings at the January 20th, 2014 regular meeting of council. Section 177 of the Community Charter allows the municipality by bylaw to establish a bylaw to provide for borrowing of money in anticipation of revenue. This bylaw authorizes the municipality to borrow up to $1,500,000 to meet current expenditures and pay amounts to meet the municipality's taxing obligations. This line of credit is set up with the Bank of Montreal. If the operating line of credit is used, the revenue from the property taxes must be used to repay the money borrowed. In 2013, the town of Osoyoos did not go into their line of credit. In fact, to the best of my knowledge, I don't know that we ever have used the line of credit, but we do have to have this bylaw in place as a just in case. So we are looking at the options to adopt revenue anticipation borrowing bylaw 1303/2014, and the recommendation is please do so by resolution. Councillor Plante Ryan. Any discussion on this? All in favor? That is passed. Item number 2, licensing and control of dogs amendment bylaw. A report from Mr. Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Licensing and control of dogs bylaw number 1036 was adopted in 1997. At that time, a Schedule C was attached assigning fines for various infractions of the bylaw. Municipal ticketing information bylaw number 1279 was adopted in 2011. This bylaw sets out fines for various town bylaws, including the licensing and control of dogs bylaw number 1036. Since fines for bylaw 1036 are set out in the MTI bylaw, there is no need to keep Schedule C to bylaw 1036, and therefore this amendment is being brought forward to remove Schedule C. Council gave 3 readings to bylaw 1036.04 2014 at its regular meeting of January 20th, 2014. It is now being presented for adoption, and the advantage here is that, or implications, that there would be only one bylaw for reference for fines, and the options that are being presented to council are to adopt the bylaw 1036.4 2014, referred back to staff for further changes, and the option also to abandon the bylaw entirely, and staff is recommending option number 1, that the bylaw be adopted.
Council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
I'll move recommended option.
I don't think it's on. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll move the recommended option.
Yep. And Councillor McCordoff. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. My little print sheet here. Moving into business, a sewer service to 9506 32nd Avenue, Rob and Donna Tinsley, within the town boundary. I guess one of those misses that sometimes happen. They're not on the sewer system and are making application. They're within town boundaries to get hooked up. Mr. Director Doucette, please.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this property, I guess the question here is getting a sewer service not that unusual. What the Tinsleys are looking at is that the bylaw that actually says the 15 or actual costs, the actual cost would be roughly around $10,000. And the rationale behind them not having to pay the actual cost is, I will get into the background of this and why they're looking at this in this fashion. Laurie, if I can get the map up, please? The ones with the pretty pictures that I put up there. Okay, as you can see, a little bit of a background on here. Back in 2004, the orange section, which is the Sonora Gardens subdivision, was constructed. And part of that, there was a line, as the approving officer told the developer, that the developer was not responsible, but the town would be responsible to provide sewer and water to 4 lots. The 4 lots are red, the Tinsleys, and the 3 that have a little check mark, which would be the 9308 32nd, 6, and 8 Wildfire Court. Since then, those 3 lots, on 9308, the 6 and 8 Wildfire Court, have been serviced with sewer, and the people have paid the $1,500 and the inspection fee, but no capital charges. The Tinsleys were not provided with sewer or water at that time. I believe the reason for that is that Law 2 Plan 11315 was supposed to get subdivided and never got done. We were going to grab an easement from the back and provide the Tinsleys with a service from that back there, which would have been probably a lot easier. So therefore, that's the reason at this point where the Tinsleys do not have a sewer. It would have to come from that little X that you see at the corner of 32nd and Wildfire Court. Would have to extend the service in front of 9308 to the Tinsley property. And that's roughly at a cost of the $10,000. The other reason I bring to your attention is the area in green. Back in 2005, this is also an area that came into town, but we're not on sewer. The town decided we are going to provide them with sewer. Again, the town paid the capital cost charges to put all the main lines in, and those properties within that green did pay their $1,500 and the connection fee at the time. I don't know if it's $1,500, but the connection fee at the time and their inspection fee. So again, these people paid for the service, but not for the capital costs. The people in blue, the highways, which 32nd is not in town, but they were going to repave that whole 32nd, and the town at the time said, let's put the sewer in prior to them paving, which all makes sense. And here again, all those people in blue connected to the town system for the $1,500 and the inspection fee, but no capital charges. So everybody in this area, other than Tinsleys, got a sewer for the $1,500 and the inspection fee. The Tinsley at this point had paid the inspection fee back in 2011. Didn't make an application, but he paid the inspection fee anyway. So that's where we are right now. So back to the options. I guess the options are that, one, the Tinsley paid their $1,500, and the town will pay to get the service from Wildfire to the Tinsley property. 2, the Tinsley paid the actual costs if they decide to do so. A new septic tank may be cheaper, I don't know. And 3, negotiate other cost-sharing options. The recommendation that I put forward is the fact that because of the rationale of all this area here, that the town, the Tinsley paid a connection fee, and the town provides the service from Wildfire to the Tinsley property.
Council, please. Councilor Cordoff.
Yes, thank you very much. When I look at the map that you've got there, Are the other properties outside of the green area, they're not outlined, do they have sewer?
Yeah,
Oh,
they had
they
sewer,
do.
yes, yeah.
Why was 1, 2, and 3 down on the lake there? Why was that?
They weren't serviced from the line that came from the border way back when. All the others, all the ones that you see there on the Keisha Court, was down below, have all been serviced from when the sewer was put in, when we put in the sewer from the border.
Okay, but everybody has sewer there now.
Everybody else down from north of what you see here all have water and sewer, yeah.
What were the Tinsleys, did they decide at the time when everybody else was getting sewer, did they choose not to take part, or were they not given the option?
I'm sure they were given the option, but I guess if your system is working fine, your septic system that is, I'm not sure why they didn't come out at that time.
Okay.
I know they did come up for in 2011 to pay their, but unfortunately there was not an official service request put in at that time.
Okay, thank you.
So the other ones, thank you.
Yeah,
That
I just
are-
wanted to ask
yeah,
those,
okay.
yeah.
So the three with the tick marks, they were going to come onto the border line. The line from the border, did you say? Yes.
No, not the lines from the tick. Sorry, is that what you're asking, the ones with the tick?
No, well, those 3 with the ticks were already included, and the Tinsleys were not, and I just wondered why.
Oh, okay,
Why-
sorry, I
why
was
they
thinking more
chose-
down
yeah.
below. No,
No,
like I said,
all of it, yeah.
no, all 3 were not, they had no sewer at the time until the Wildflower Court came in.
Okay.
And then, like I said, the sewer line passed right in front of their homes, and that's why it was very easy to get them hooked up.
Other than the potential subdivision of the,
That's
seems
it.
like the potential subdivision was the
The catalyst to
probably
get
where
this
it went
done.
sidewise,
You
yeah.
betcha, that's right.
And where it went sideways. Okay. Councilor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I think I'd like to make a motion based on option 1, pretty much the way it's worded in option 1.
Seconder on that? Councilor Plant. Any further discussion? Seems to me like that makes sense, and everybody else was not having to incur those costs. It would be a little onerous to put those onto a single dwelling at this time. So any further discussion? Hearing Councilor Ryan?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, just, I guess the question is, if we were today doing the green and the blue areas, would we be doing the same thing we did then?
That would be a council decision. This was a council decision at the time to do so.
Because
I guess they were in town boundaries, they weren't on sewer, I guess close to the lake. We
Yeah.
thought it was feasible to get this done.
Yeah, because a lot of water has gone under the bridge since then.
Yes,
And council's made a lot of different decisions about
you betcha.
charging things. So I guess, I hope we won't have any, this won't become a precedent, and we won't be having any other latecomers who are finding things like this that, where they were missed.
You're so
Was
correct.
that,
yep.
was that, the Tinsley property, that's, I guess that's 1 and 2 of that. Was it subdivided at the time, or was it?
No, that was already like that.
It was all-
At the time, there was only lot 2 we thought was going to get subdivided. The 1 was already in place.
Okay.
2 was, but that lot 2 is potential could get also subdivided at one time.
I see.
Whenever that happens, whoever the owner decides to do so.
Okay, thanks.
Anything further? So we're going with option 1, the recommended option. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Under reports, street food vendor selection and approval policy. Director Cunningham, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The purpose of this report is to request council approval of the attached street vendor selection and approval policy to replace our current ad hoc food vendor practices. A new approach is needed to focus staff efforts on competitively attracting and selecting quality food vendors who can commit long-term to serve the resident and tourist market in Osoyoos with good service and attractive equipment. The latest version of the policy incorporates 2 revisions requested by Council at their January 20th COW meeting. First, staff will be responsible for approving vendors in accordance with Council policy, and with Council itself only being involved for considering vendor use of town lands. Second, downtown vendors will now have to be located at least 60 meters from fixed-roof restaurant buildings and fill a different market niche to avoid unfair competition. The attached policy incorporates the following components. 1, quota system. A maximum quota of 2 food vendors will be allowed business licenses in each of the following categories. 1, stationary vendor in approved park. 2, stationary downtown vendor on public parking spaces off Main Street, but not on private properties, which has created problems in the past. 3, stationary vendors on primary liquor establishment properties and mobile street vendors. It is anticipated that the quota system will attract new interest amongst serious food vendors about the Osoyoos marketplace, while ensuring that their numbers do not overly compete with our fixed-roof restaurants. 2, invitations for expression of interest, EOI. Following Council approval of the new street food vendor policy, the town will run promotional advertisements in the Osoyoos Times and the Penticton Herald, inviting interested vendors to competitively submit EOIs for available quota sites before a set closing date. The advertisement will also be posted on our website, and personal notices sent to all vendors who operated through the last year's season. To promote competition, diversity, and keep opportunities open for local businesses, prospective vendors can only apply in 1 quota category and for 1 site. They will have to provide sufficient supporting information to enable staff to appraise their proposal against selection criteria laid out in the proposed policy, which is based on an Ottawa City model. This competitive procedure should help promote quality vendors and glean out less serious operators. 3, application selection approval. Staff will rate all vendor submissions against the evaluation criteria and select approved vendors up to the quota maximums. Approved vendors will be invited to complete applications by a set date that meets our business license requirements. License holders will be able to apply for annual extensions for up to 5 years if they're still in good standing with the town. Options. 1, Council approved street vendor selection approval policy 311.1. Council requests further revisions before considering approval, or 3, do not take any action. Impacts. Community. Provides residents and visitors with convenient, quality, and diverse food offerings. Vendors will gain more security and make long-term commitments to operating in the Osoyoos market and invest in their equipment. Budget. Business license fees will be collected, as well as applicable fees for using town property. Organizational. Instead of the previous ad hoc and wasteful time-consuming practices, staff will focus on creating a supporting business environment for quality food vendors. After the first year of operations, it can be expected that demands on staff time will reduce. Timelines. Policy hopefully approved today, February 3rd. Newspaper notices posted on February 12th and 19th. Closing time date for candidate submissions, February 28th. Staff completes finals vendor selection on March 15th and invites successful candidates to apply for a business license. Business license approval approved by April 4th, ready for May long weekend. Sustainability will sustain a vibrant mobile home food sector for serving residents and attracting tourists. Staff recommends option number 1.
Great. Council's wishes on this, please. Councilor Ryan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I am prepared to move that we approve our food vendor selection and approval policy 3.11.1.
Thank you. And seconder, Councilor Rhodes. Speaking to the motion, Councilor?
Yes, I think it's good. I just had one question. I think it certainly takes care of a number of issues we've had in the past, and you know, makes it a little more of a planned activity. The The number 3 in the quota system, the stationary vendor on primary liquor establishment property, what would those be? Would those be restaurants that have licenses, or would they be?
No, typically in the past they've been pubs that had this on their own properties, and I believe they were to close before the final closing times of the pub. I think that was the arrangement.
I see. Okay.
But there was one on the pub round the corner on Cottonwood, I believe.
Yes, I remember.
Right.
That came before us at one point. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So would that still be able to happen?
Yes, it would.
Okay,
Yeah, up to a quota of 2.
okay. That would be both the operator of the pub food establishment offering it, or an outside person?
It could be either, yes.
Okay.
Likely to be an outsider, though. That's the way it's
Then-
worked in the past.
Where are we with the private property?
The private property thing only impacts on the downtown, and that's where we had the problems before. Twofold, you're dealing with 2 people that sometimes can have different interests, the property owner
Right.
and the person operating the vendor, and then for different reasons we seem to get into problems with the way that they were operating. There was one person, for instance, who was very determined against the provisions of his license to keep putting tables and chairs out and directly compete with nearby restaurants.
Right. So that's downtown core versus the rest of the town area,
That is correct.
and that's defined area?
It is the, yes, it's the downtown zone, so it's got very carefully.
Very specific on the zoning map.
That's right,
And
exactly.
we can point at it and go, that's it.
Exactly, there's no room for misinterpreting that.
And for even like people like me, it's going to be colored.
Red,
Okay.
irrespective of your politics.
Thank you. Anything else from council, please? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Director Cunningham.
Very welcome.
The next item up, Penticton Model Aviation Club Airport Use Agreement. Another report from Director of Corporate Services, Mr. Romanko, filling in, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Council approved a use agreement with the Penticton Model Aviation Club called PENMAC for a 1-year term in 2013 in order for PENMAC to use the airport to fly model aircrafts. There's been no issues in the past with the use of the airport by PENMAC for this purpose. They are requesting an agreement for use for another year ending December 31st, 2014. Insurance is provided through the Model Aeronautics Association of Canada in the amount of $2 million. There is no fee being charged to the group as there is no direct expenses to the town. The community benefits, the club provides a recreational opportunity for local people and brings other people to town to participate in the activities. Just the staff time invested in monitoring the contract. There's no budget impacts and no significant date impacts. And the options being presented to council include council approving the agreement with PENMAC for the use of the Osoyoos Airport for the term of January 1st to December 31st, 2014. The second option, that staff make changes to the agreement and return it to council for further review. And 3, that council not approve the agreement with PENMAC for the use of the Osoyoos Airport, and staff is making the option number 1 as the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor McCordoff, please.
Yes, I would go with option number 1, that we approve the agreement.
Thank you. And Councillor Rhodes seconding. Speaking to the motion, Councillor McCordoff.
Thank you. I just think that this is a great opportunity to bring people into town and use the airport runway. And it worked out very well last year, and I think that we should give them the same option this year.
Thank you. Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you. I just had a couple of questions. I wonder if we know whether they are charging members to use it, or do you have to become a member of the club to participate?
I think part of it is again, the agreement is specific to the membership. And whether that membership be, like they have aviators come from Penticton and Kelowna, and they come and they do their things here, I'd assume that they wouldn't charge. It's probably a reciprocal agreement of some sort. But very specifically, I don't know that they charge participants or not.
I was just wondering, in terms of our license for our archery club to use a portion of our property. Did we decide, I know we talked about not charging them or charging them a very small amount. Do you recall what they were paying, if anything?
I don't recall off the top of my head
Yeah.
if they're paying any fee, and I would doubt that we would charge them for using that property because there's no expenses related to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we were charging it.
Yeah, I think at one point we talked about it, and then we also talked about, just
It was
like,
kids and.
yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
I guess I just have well, I actually have a couple. How do we fit this in with the real planes that are flying up there?
They watch and
Okay.
they bring them down when they see a plane approaching. Again, there's been no reported conflicts or anything like that.
Okay.
I imagine they're fairly sophisticated, so they would have their own protocols in place that they would have to follow in terms of probably even a national organization.
Okay. And it's very fortunate that this is working for them, because there's not a very good mix with cattle ranchers and residents, and that in other towns. Lake Country went to court, to a very, very big court case over this type of activity, and it was unpleasant for everybody. So the fact that they have got a place here, I just think we should keep doing one year terms on it. But unless we hear otherwise, have fun. That's for sure. So, anything further on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. That passes. South Okanagan Transit. CAO Romanko again, please.
The town administers the operating agreement for the South Okanagan Transit System on behalf of BC Transit. BC Transit has advised through the attached letter of the GradPass program, which allows graduating high school students to ride the bus free of charge for any 2 consecutive days of their choice in June 2014. The South Okanagan Transit is asking if the town would like to participate in this program. This program is designed to promote transit as safe means for transportation and helps them understand their options of safe rides home. Although the Soyuz system does not run at night or strictly in town, this promotion may help in promoting the use of public transit to these students when they move to a larger center to continue their education. This may also promote the use of their local system to those students who will be taking classes at Okanagan College in Penticton if their class schedules works with the bus schedule. If council is in favor of offering this program, BC Transit marketing staff will work with the school board, schools, and South Okanagan Transit Society to distribute the information. There's no impact on the administration or the budget, and they would like to know before March 1st as a response. And as options, the administration is presenting that council approves the GradPass program through South Okanagan Transit System, and that the council not approve the GradPass program involvement of the town.
Council, please. Councilor Ryan.
Yes, I would move that we approve the GradPass program for the South Okanagan Transit System.
And seconder, Councilor Rhodes. Discussion?
Well, I hope that it would help them out and help them convince them that transit is the way to go.
For sure.
Yeah, so let's hope it's successful.
Councilor McCordock.
Thank you. I'm just wondering how many, I hesitate to think how many students might take part in this. I hope they do. But I'm wondering if it might be suggested that they keep track of how many students are actually taking advantage of this. It's a nice time of year. Many students have cars, And I'm just not sure how well it'll be received, but I think it's a great idea to offer it to them.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. It was interesting, just at our lunch break there, I guess that was around 1 o'clock, but there was on the CBC radio, they were having quite a discussion about transit in Vancouver and who's going to pay for this funding issue. And they're trying to keep, I believe the number was 400,000 new cars out of the city of Vancouver grid and the suburban communities there. And when you hear it in those sort of terms, it really makes, transit to us, really, we're still car oriented because of where we are in the service and the numbers. But you start hearing numbers like that, 400,000 cars that are going to, if we keep at the present growth rate, that's the number of vehicles that are going to start using those same existing roads, and it starts getting pretty scary. And all of a sudden, transit probably starts making a lot of sense. You still have to figure out who's going to pay for it, mind you. Thank you for that. Under Business 5, TELUS report from our CAO, Mr. Romanko.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. TELUS is in the process of installing fiber optics into the community. Installation of this fiber service enables the company to provide optic TV to the community. In previous discussions and decisions of Council, there was an agreement that the TELUS Community Benefit Program of $25 per TV subscription sold would be provided to the Splash Park to a maximum of $30,000. Attached, please find the agreement that outlines the agreement that TELUS will provide this funding to the Splash Park, and in return, the town agrees to a marketing program that enables TELUS to use the town's logo and trademark Canada's Warmest Welcome. In terms of implications, the community will benefit from TELUS making a contribution to the Splash Park. Organizationally, it's just the time spent with TELUS representatives approving marketing efforts and work in the community. The agreement is retroactive to October 29th and ends May 8th. The options presented include approving the agreement as presented, a second, to reconsider entering into an agreement for the funding, and third, seek additional information prior to the decision-making. The administration recommends option number 1. The agreement provides no problems, provides additional funds to the Splash Park, and has a 30-day cancellation clause.
Thank you. Councillor Plant.
Actually, I'll pass it.
Okay. I just because it sort of ties into the Splash Park and that.
Well, sorry, Mayor. I just have a bad head cold, so I'm trying to stay out of the line. But as far as the Splash Park goes, we've sat and talked about some of the potential still funding that we need to gather for completion, and this is just a very positive direction that we could go. So I kind of thank council and for administration for thinking of actually coming with this agreement to further finish what we've started with the Splash Park. So I look forward to everyone getting optic TV.
Great. And we'll take that as a moving of option 1.
Yes.
Thank you. And I know you're fighting through this illness. So the seconder, Councillor McCordoff, please, and speaking to it, please.
Yes, I'd like to speak to this. I see in the consideration on the second page that TELUS shall pay the town of Vesuvius for every new optic TV activation within the municipal boundaries of the town of Vesuvius, and that $25 would go to the Splash Park. But there are several people, including my house, which is just south of the town boundary, who would like to have the same option. And I'm just wondering if it would be possible for people who are not within the town boundaries but are outside it to also have the $25 going to the Splash Park. Can that be added to it, or is that separate from the motion?
If that's the wishes of council, I could ask that amendment to the agreement be made. I don't foresee any problem that TELUS would have with it, besides some type of accounting that for the program. They always speak about broader communities, so my assumption is that they would have record and be able to work with that.
It's just that it says municipal boundary, so
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to, I mean, I would be happy to have optic TV put in my house once they have a line down the street, which they don't at the moment. But I would certainly hope that if I did this, that that $25 would go to the splash park from my house, and I know there are several other people in my neighborhood who feel the same way.
I'll entertain that as a friendly amendment.
Okay.
Ms. Scott, that works, thank you, and seconded by Councillor Ryan. Now, speaking, Councillor Ryan.
Thank you. Since you're in a friendly amendment mood, I'm going to put a few more before you, Mr. Mayor. I have some concerns about this agreement as it is, even with this small amendment we've made, which I think is a positive one. And I said some of these same things when TELUS was working with their mobile units and directing funds to the Vernon Library when I was on the library board. First of all, I think the term is too short. I haven't seen much other than that nice letter from the mayor and TELUS about signing on. I think it should say until the end of this year, 2014, or at the very earliest, 12 months from the start date, because they are going to, May the 8th is going to be here before we know it. And I think there are going to be a lot of people that sign on after that period. Secondly, I think it should include a minimum contribution. They're saying a maximum of. Well, I think, I don't know how many they've sold, and I don't know if they told us how many they've sold so far. But I think there should always be a minimum whenever you're getting money like this. I mean, we need it for the splash park, and I would say somewhere, half of that, 15, 20,000 as the minimum. There should be also some kind of reporting on sales, just to see how we're doing, so that we can, we can flog it a little bit too, because it's going to bring money to our splash park. So I think we've seen this as something where we're working together with them, and it's in our interest as well that people sign on if they would like to have this service. The 30-day termination is really for unresolved cause, so I mean it's not as if we can get out of it once we've done it. So I think we want it to be right the first time, and this is just really a question for them, and it is that there is a strata corporation that's being offered bulk rates with no minimum sign up of numbers, and I'm just wondering if that would trigger donations as well, and if not, I think that we should be aware of this bulk subscription.
Thank you very much. I've got a big smile on my face. I like every point you mentioned. So I think we'll just have to go and make sure that Ms. Scott, our recording secretary, has those amendments in a bullet form, and I'd like to see them go through as part of this agreement. I'm just going to bounce that off CAO Romanko.
I can make those requests of TELUS, and we'll see what their response is.
Great. I hope they're smiling as big as I am. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also, we should probably define the rural area as well. I don't think we can use the regional district as a drawing point, but certainly maybe our area, within the regional district might be a logical choice. And I totally support all of that. We often talk about amenities that we provide in our town, especially amenities that have no fee attached to them, and who actually uses them and that kind of thing. And this would certainly help those participants from outside of our municipality to contribute a little bit towards it anyway.
Just speaking to the area, and it could very well be that they have a service area out of this particular node,
Right.
that could help define, and maybe that's how they were going to
Sure.
define it. So I can make that inquiry.
Okay, so just going through them and make sure we get the amendments right. So we are adding area to it, which could be up for discussion, because there may be areas in the regional district that physically can't be handled by the equipment they have. So we will get area in there. Councillor Ryan, Your other point?
I
Term,
passed on the notes.
there was term, and what is?
Term for sure.
What is the direction on term? What term would, end of the year?
I like end of the year. I think that was suggested end of the year, council, that's end of the year.
Yeah, could I just say that I know of several people who have signed up, ready to have optic delivered, and it has been postponed 2 or 3 times.
Right.
So I'm just, same thing. So I'm thinking that absolutely that Councillor Ryan is right in saying that May is way too early, and I would certainly say by the end of 2014 makes sense to me.
And
Okay,
the final,
minimum, I heard 15,000. I think that should
Halfway
be
there, halfway to their maximum.
halfway to their maximum. That would seem to be fair, reasonable, and fair.
yeah, I recall reading something, and whether it was reported right or not, but what I read was that they had made a commitment to the Oliver Theater for 26 or 28,000. Now, again, it's subject to the reporting, but
Right.
I don't know if that is in fact something they do or not.
And they may have been working off that top number as they did with our $30,000 top number.
Yeah.
So now we'll establish that bottom bracket. Thank you, Councillor Ryan.
And then there was reporting too. I actually passed it on to Mr.
Okay,
Mingo, but,
okay.
The reporting, so that we know, so that we can put a little push behind it if necessary. And then
Yeah.
the question of bulk subscriptions to multifamily dwellings.
Are they part of the tally?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
And
yes.
will something be coming from those?
Well, it would work out if we had the bottom bracket. There would be
Yes,
something
yes,
forthcoming.
for
That
sure.
could be inclusive.
Yep.
That would be a way of being inclusive on that. So do you want to still vote on this going forward as amended? Or
Well,
do you want to get back to us in the next meeting?
Well, I'd just as soon get back to you
Yes, it's
next
quite a
meeting.
bit,
Okay.
There's a number of points that council wants to readdress, so
Mhm.
I can readdress them with the representative and see
Certainly.
what the response is.
Okay, so that'll come back then.
So we could show, do you want a motion to
Direct
to our
staff.
next
Motion
meeting?
to direct staff and report back.
Okay, so
Councillor
I would
Ryan?
so
Yeah,
move.
okay, and that seconder, Councillor McCordoff. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, opposed, we will hear back. That was a great little item. Heading into reports, general Sunbowl and payroll accounts, general and Sunbowl cash requirements in the amount of general account $1,011,216.50. Sunbowl in the amount of $11,024.79, and payroll recounts for receipt in the amount of $61,818.30. Any discussion on those? They will be adopted by consensus. On committee reports, and I see there was none reported. I just have some verbal report. I did attend the recent Destination Osuyas meeting. Councillor Ryan was away, and I hadn't been there for a while. And there's quite a bit happening about economic development and Destination Osuyas, and they are one body now. It is Destination Osuyas with this Economic Development Committee from the town selection process that's been rolled into it. Today is a closing day for their position of executive director. It's been out there for, a month, and there's well over 30 applicants that have been received. These are going to go into a vetting process. That committee has been selected. I did step forward just because I thought we should have town there in some form. So this will start on some reduction process before it goes to the Destination Osuyas board, and we don't have a vote on that Destination Osuyas board. We're members, but we're not voting members. So that basically covered a lot of where they're at, although they had a very, very aggressive agenda and very ambitious agenda with lots of items that are coming through, and including Desert Live, the music program that's looking very, very promising for this July 1st window bracket, probably maybe a week surrounding either side of July 1st. So there's some neat things happening out there, and that's my update on Destination Osoyoos. Which brings us to the CAO, a report from Mr. Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Just a few of the things the administration's been involved in the last couple of weeks. Starting first with the Department of Community Services, 5 proposals were received for the Community Service Master Plan, and we're in the process of going through them right now, and a recommendation will come to Council very shortly. The Community Services Department received, they were quick on the button and received a $1,000 grant from the British Columbia Recreation Parks Association to help offset and plan for Family Day activities. So advertising and notices will be circulated this week. They are planning a family event with the Osoyoos Coyotes at the Sun Bowl Arena with refreshments, snacks, and games. The repairs at Desert Park started on Friday, and this is the first phase of installation and drywall, which is scheduled to be completed in 3 or 4 weeks. And also they are planning a community snapshot of our Healthy Living Coalition on February 27th. We will analyze the 5 pillars identified by Interior Health, tobacco reduction, healthy eating, active living, healthy built environment, and priority populations. In terms of finance, they've been busy with budget and getting all the reports in, and Council will be sitting down and looking at the next level of budgeting next week. Public Works, the last snowfall kept all their crews busy. Just a reminder, some people are still pushing snow from their driveways to the center of the road, and this is a bylaw infraction. I think it's a $500 infraction if I'm not mistaken, and that's because snow freezes and can cause damage to people's vehicles. Also, pruning, picnic table fixing, and staining and other cleanup is underway. Construction of the reclaimed water booster station near the tennis courts has begun, and request for quotes for the town flower baskets and planters has been initiated. The 340 reservoir new pump installation work is underway, and irrigation preventative maintenance and pumps is also ongoing. In terms of myself, I was involved in a webinar relating to communications for the new Multi-Materials BC program. That'll be occurring in May, so we have to plan how we're going to get all the information to people on the changes in the program. We had a union management meeting that reviewed three policies that will be coming to Council. We're busy developing the annual report. We finalized the draft 2014 business plan in preparation for budget meetings, and also received just recently the MMBC's business plan template that we have to work out. We've got to submit a business plan as to how we're going to carry out that program as well. So that's a few of the things that we've been involved in.
Just a follow-up comment on that, CAO Romanko. There sure is a lot of municipalities that are fighting the paperwork that's going to be involved in MMBC. It's not looking very friendly at all. So
it's quite a paperwork process.
I bet it is. Thank you. That brings us to councillor reports. First would be Councillor McCordoff, please.
Thank you. Well, yesterday was Groundhog Day, and I'm not sure there were many people out checking the groundhog shadow. I think the event was overshadowed by a larger event. However, I don't think that we are going to have spring anytime soon. From the looks of things, we're in for another cold week. Well below 0 temperatures in the evenings and overnight. But I did want to say, and Mr. Romanko already mentioned it, that on February the 10th, which is next Monday, it is Family Day, and I think this is the second year that BC has had a Family Day. And so what you know, what I would suggest that you do is find something, it's a school holiday, municipal holiday, find something that is kind of fun for you and your family to do. And last year, I believe the Sun Bowl Arena was closed because it was a stat holiday. And this year, they are going to be open, and they're going to have skating in the arena for families, all members of the family. And they also have snacks that are provided for people. So I'm not exactly sure of the hours of that yet. I do know that it'll be on our website soon, and it will certainly be in the paper and on various websites that you can find that information out. So please choose something healthy and fun and enjoy being with your family. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. A reminder to everyone that at 7 o'clock tonight in Council Chambers, we are having a kind of an interesting public hearing to receive information on the medical marijuana and how we're going to rezone some of our areas around town to accommodate and define where we feel that these operations should be if those opportunities come to us. And once again, that's here in Council Chambers at 7 o'clock tonight. It will be followed by a special open meeting where we hopefully will have some vigorous debate and come up with a resolution regarding that topic. Additionally, at the last council meeting, I invited people to contact me about our budget issues, and you know, no sooner do the words come out of your mouth and you forget all about it and you never think anybody will contact you, but lo and behold, been pitched 3 times already on, well, not regrettably, but on the same topic, and that's our dog park and the many improvements that these individuals feel that they should be happening up there. And so good for you, and just wanted everybody to know that we still have lots of time, and anybody wants to talk about any budget matter, whether it's a dream or a reality or a complaint, I definitely want to hear about it. And my personal information on my email address is available on the town website anytime, and I'd be more than happy to hear from anybody about it. And that's my short report.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Maybe I owe an apology on that. I had some emails coming about dog park, and I said, well, you could always forward your shopping list as to what you were looking for up there. So you're probably getting it. That's great. Councillor Plante, please.
I think I'm going to pass today. Unfortunately, I'm not feeling too great, so I'm going to pass this. I'll give all my time to Councillor Ryan.
Well,
Councillor Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Mr. Councillor Plante. Well, I guess I have to wish everyone a Happy New Year. I was away for more time than I had anticipated, both visiting my family, my children in Ontario, and then helping my sister who went into a care facility to, well, not helping her, but emptying her house for her. So anyway, that put me in the snow zone of Canada. So I was happy to rehone my skills in snow shoveling and things like that. But now I'm back and happy to be here. I wanted to call to your attention some auditions for SOAP, our local drama group. They're going to be producing a wonderful play that I've seen a few years ago called Lend Me a Tenor by Ken Ludwig, and we did one of his once before when we did Moon Over Buffalo. So it is Sunday, February the 16th at 2 p.m. That's in 2 weeks, just next door at the Art Gallery in the upper room up there, the boardroom. So if you are interested in anything to do with plays, especially acting, then that's the place to be. And that play will be shown. It will be appearing in Osoyoos and also in the rebuilt theater, Frank Venables Theater in Oliver, at the end of May. sort of the last 2 weekends of May of this year. So I hope if you aren't in it, that you'll be in the audience at least to see it. The Thursday of this week at 6:30, we are going to have presentations about the landscaping that's going to take place at Gyro Park and along the waterfront. So there are some plans that will be revealed then, and a lot of details about what's going to happen. So if you have some time, good to drop by. 6:30 it opens, 7 o'clock there will be a formal presentation. So try to make that if you can. And I think the only other thing that struck me just in listening to the news and catching up on things was recently when there was talk about the Canadian Security Intelligence Service and particularly the Communications Security Establishment Canada, and it seems that it was at YVR at Vancouver Airport, which I went through a couple of times, and I used their complimentary Wi-Fi, which I think I won't do anymore. I may go into airports with my phone turned off because they have found, I guess they were field testing, but they found that they can pick up your signal and they can track you sort of wherever you go, not just in the airport, but outside of the airport for sometimes weeks later. So, and in talking about this the other day on the television, one of the people who's sort of an expert on this type of thing was saying that they say they're not breaking any rules or not any laws, and they have secret laws, and that word, that term secret laws just really got to me, and I thought, wow, secret laws. I mean, in a democracy, are you supposed to have secret laws? And I know we take great pains here to do everything in the public forum, and when we do something behind closed doors, we bring it forward. And so I just wanted you to know about that. If you have missed out on that interesting tidbit about our national government, something to pursue a little bit. So you will find probably as you compare the senior levels of government that the one that you are a part of here in Osoyoos is local government is probably the most transparent and the most favorable in our democracy.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't have an awful lot to report other than I attended that grand gala for Desert Sun Counseling last weekend. It was very good as usual. In fact, it was in Watermark again, and I thought it was as good as they put on, and well received by both communities, and of course that funding going to such a good cause. When we're talking about funding in community, I guess I'd just like to put that reminder out for community grant and aids. Has that kicked off yet? Is that closing? What are the dates?
I think the dates are the end of this month, February,
right.
And it was on e-news, so
right.
It is out there.
So this is just that reminder if you're doing grant and aids. Closing date is the 14th. If you call it, I'm going to say it's the 21st. Am I sticking out my neck?
I really don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, okay. If you're thinking of a grant and aid, it's going to close in February. So make sure that you get it in early. You don't want to miss it. I'm sure there's a real deadline. Look at the Town of Osoyoos site, and it'll have that information on there. Don't be late. And I think the Gyro Park. Again, Gyro Park, it's coming up, and we're going to be into probably one of these coldest nights of the year. But, you know, when we had the charrette, there was so much input from the town that went into it. I remember sitting in a meeting hall with probably 50 people putting forth suggestions that they would like to see. So as we get into the first part of putting this together, again, this will be Thursday, February the 6th, 6:30 p.m., Sonora Center. Follow up on what you presented over a year ago and have an opportunity to see how that's been translated into what your wishes are. Quite an important meeting, because after that it's going to start, there's going to be things happening in the ground. So please come out if you were a part of that, or if you're very interested, if you're new to town, want to see what's happening down there. So there's some pretty exciting ideas. So do come forward. Mr. Romanko, please.
The deadline for grant and aid is February 28th.
February 28th. So the last day of the month, 14. Well, this could be leap year. But anyway, February 28th is the last day. So make sure that you're in if you'd like to be in. And that's my report. Thank you very much. Motion to adjourn. Councillor Rhodes McCordoff, all in favor. Good afternoon, folks.